Ricky, Gene, Francois. Ricky, we appreciate you joining us here on the NFL Front Office Show. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
Real good to have you. This is my name is Brian Hughes. I got Tyrone Powell here, who you spoke with, and James Greenwood. I'm going to start out with a question from our chat room, or actually from one of our other chefs here in the kitchen, and that is, what would you, if you had to describe Mike Singletary, how would you describe Mike Singletary, and what was your immediate thoughts of him getting fired?
Describe him as a person. It was just like the same way everybody seen him play. It's the same way he coached. He was just real into it. He just couldn't be satisfied with what we gave him. He wanted a certain standard we had to be at, and that's what we had to reach. He wasn't settled for no less. And at the time when they had fired him, I was shocked. I understand sometimes you have your ups and downs, but when he got fired at the point, I was shocked. It was like the guy I looked up to was a Hall of Fame coach. Who wouldn't beg to play for a Hall of Fame coach, especially that played linebacker? And when he got fired, I was just like, that's a part of the business. I can't really do much about it. I wish we'd have kept him as a coach, but that's a part of the business.
Hey, Ricky. This is James here, and I was wondering. I mean, according to your old LSU page, you weighed in at a little under 290, 295, I think, and you're playing nose tackle now. And one of the big conceptions of the nose tackle position is you have to be 315 plus to play that position. Is there a difference in the scheme that you run in San Francisco, or is it just a big misconception that you have to be that big to play the position?
It's a real big misconception because a lot of people, you're like, hey, somehow LSU, it says in 290. Once I got to the San Francisco 49ers, I've been 315 and above. It's just with the type of body I carry and where I keep myself in shape and where I keep myself built. If you looked at me, you think I'm 280, but really if I step on the scale, I'm 312 and above. But a lot of coaches are stuck into, we got to have that big 6'5" or 6'4" or that big 330-pound guy. Like I tell a lot of people, you can look at my size, but numbers don't lie. You can take me in the weight room if you like to. I'm one of the strongest people on my team, or probably the strongest guy on my team. And this season that's coming up, I'm going to do my best and use my size that everybody's so small about. Use my ability to change their perceptions of every 3-4 coach that you don't need a guy that's 330 pounds to play the position. If you got the guy that got the heart and the strength and knows the craft well enough, you won't need a guy that big.
Okay, Ricky, it's TP, man. How you feeling tonight, man? Welcome to the kitchen, man.
I'm feeling good.
All right. So I'm gonna start. I'm bringing the steak to the table, man. I know we big boys, but we like to get it on in the kitchen, man. So, what's the toughest offensive line that you've seen thus far?
The toughest, I think, was the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints had to have probably one of the toughest offensive line, hands down.
And in that game, the game in San Francisco, you guys actually had a shot at winning that game late, but you guys actually fell short, man. I mean, how did you feel, falling short up against a team where you felt their offensive line was as strong as possible and you guys were that close to getting the job done?
It felt like it felt bad, but that's a part of the game. Little mistakes that's probably early in the game that we could have looked at and said we could have did better on. We should have did better, but you know how it is. It can be one play in the second quarter, one play in the third quarter that can cost you that play. That can cost you that game, but you have your ups and downs. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. But one thing we did make sure we learned from that mistake. We learned how to get better from that game.
Hey, Ricky, this is Brian Hughes again out here in California. I'm a huge San Francisco 49ers fan, so I follow you guys. I know a lot of the stuff that the casual fan wouldn't know. And my question for you is this. free agency, it looks like a deal is looming here. It looks like we're going to get something done, hopefully, between the players and the association here pretty quickly. Ray McDonald, scheduled to be a free agent. Dimitri Evans, scheduled to be a free agent. Abreu Franklin, scheduled to be a free agent. You've got a real opportunity here to be a starter in the Crimson Red and Gold. How excited are you about the opportunity not to back up Franklin, but really to compete for a starting job on the San Francisco 49ers?
Since I got drafted, I just took it as I'm trying to fight for a job every year. Even if I do get the starting job this year and not be the backup behind Abreu Franklin, I'm gonna just keep the attitude that I'm still trying to fight for a job every day. And hands down, Abreu Franklin's like one of the best nose tackles in the game. He knows his craft. He taught me a lot. He showed me things on the field that can only be shown in the room and been demonstrated on the field. I showed mad love to him because he was a guy that could have just left me out by hanging by myself and tried to go after the deal, but he was the type of guy that took me under his wing, took care of me, looked over me, and made sure it was certain things I needed to know about the game. And now if I get the starting job, it just take up from where he left off at. I know the media's gonna have his downs about him because I'm a small guy. I'm not as big as most people, but that's what we got this upcoming season for, just to show everybody different.
Ricky, one of your biggest games in your collegiate career was during that national championship game against Ohio State, where you put up some pretty impressive numbers, but even the numbers didn't really reflect how well you did in that game. Are you the kind of player who really steps up in the big moment, or was there just a mismatch that you were able to take advantage of?
I like standing up in the big moment. I like when the lights cut on then it was Saturday, but I like when the lights cut on Saturday or Sunday. I'm the type of guy that likes stepping up. I want you to know who I am. Even if I make a play, disrupt the play in some way, I got to be known in that game. I have to get to a point I'm getting it ahead of the offense coordinator. I want to get ahead of the quarterback. I want to get ahead of whoever I got. Whoever's calling that play on the other side of that sideline, I'm trying to get in your head. It wasn't no mismatch. I was just trying to ball out. I was trying to get that national championship. And then that was the main goal, to do what we got to get to that trophy, and that's what I did to get it.
Okay, Rick. Now personally, I want you to look within inside yourself. You probably had this set ever since the season ended last year, but you guys were actually one of the favorites to win your conference or your division, being in the NFC West. Personally, what goals do you have set forth to help the team as much as possible?
For myself, to help the team is just basically, like I said, take up from where Abreu Franklin left all that. I don't want Pat to feel uncomfortable. I don't want Shaquille to feel uncomfortable. I really don't want none of the linebackers to feel uncomfortable with me. I want the D-line to trust me in every possible way. They feel like there's a young guy coming off the bench that's going to make big impact plays for the guys. My biggest goal is just going out there and trying to make as much impact plays as I can for the team, but not sitting there trying to hang out with none of my players on that field. I'm just playing within the scheme, but make sure it never seemed like we fell off at no given point.
Hey, Ricky, this is Brian again. Last week on the show we had Naval Bauman, one of your teammates, on. Great guy, very humble, and really he said the impact that Patrick Willis and Takeo Spikes has had on his maturation. I know you mentioned Abreu Franklin as helping you mature, but here's my question for you. In that maturation process, as a nose tackle in a 3-4, how vital is it for the nose tackle to get push as opposed to just anchoring, because it seems like the Niners have really struggled in pass defense, and a lot of people think that that's contributed to the pass rush. So I'd like to get your take on, as a nose tackle, how important is it in passing situations for that nose tackle to be able to collapse the pocket so that those outside rushers can really get a beat on that quarterback?
That's probably the 3-4 defense. That is one of the biggest things. That nose tackle must get his push. You're going to have your time and place where you can anchor down that, but you got to get that pressure. Because I know sometimes in most offenses, they don't account for that nose tackle. He's a big guy. They can probably put 2 guys on him or send a slide protection or leave 1 guy on them and keep him there. But one thing that Thomas Sula got was like drilling in my head all last season, even for my rookie season. He wants pressure. He don't want that quarterback standing up in the pocket. He don't want him sitting there comfortable. And one thing this upcoming season is not to let that quarterback sit there during pass, because one thing, like you said, it killed our secondary. Our secondary was dependent on us to make those sacks, and when we didn't, sometimes you can only hold, them DBs can only hold so much cover for so long. So this year, the one biggest thing that the nose tackle got to get pressure. That's one that I have to get pressure. It's going to be time and places I got time to anchor down. Then we're going to have plays for that to happen. But when it's time to get that fast rush, win by any means.
So you've been on San Francisco for a while, and you've gone through a couple of regime changes over your time in San Francisco. Does it hinder your process as a football player to have so many changes going on? Does it especially on the defense, to change from the way that one coach calls the game as opposed to another?
I don't think that's really going to change. Is just the call of the play. Nothing else is going to change. We might have different multiple looks, but it can't nothing really change besides just the name of the play. Everything else is going to be played the same. We gonna run blitzes. D-linemen get upfield and pass rush. Outside backers are going to do the same. Middle linebackers are going to blitz and drop. You can only do so much. So it's when we go out, the only thing you're going to hear is just a different play. Now you just going to hear a different play, and just have to probably realize it from doing all the studying in a classroom and just bring it out on the field. It shouldn't make no difference. I know on the offense it might take a toll, but on the defense, or most defense in the NFL, we'll catch on faster than the offense, because the offense is a little more complicated when you're changing up offense coordinator and the head coach.
Okay, now I'm about to lose you here right now, Rick, because I'm about to just show you who I'm affiliated with. I'm a Lions fan. You know what I'm saying? I like Detroit.
Hey, don't hold it against him. It's not his fault, Ricky.
Hey, hang on, relax. How do you compare your style of play up front with the Hawks to a Ndamukong Suh?
Wow. He's a great player. I've seen him play all last season. It was like at one point that word rookie didn't really mean nothing to him. That was a grown man playing. But the difference between him and us at the 49ers, you're dealing with a bunch of older guys that have been in the game long enough. You got Justin Smith that's 10 years, Demetrius Evans 10 years, Brady Franklin 8, Isaac Sosa Walker I think 7 or 8 years. You're dealing with guys that have been in the game long enough and probably just about know every tactical move known to man. And having older guys trying to teach younger guys like myself, it makes us catch up with Ndamukong Suh, or either pass him and mature as a player, physically and mentally. He's a good player, hands down. I tell you that now. But with our defensive line, we're dealing with a bunch of older vets that knows the game.
But wait. I want you to compare your style of play to how he plays ball. You know, like both of you are dominating your own right. Both of y'all bring the pain up front, but it's different because Sue, you're right. He really doesn't have somebody to facilitate to other than Van Den Bosch, but Kyle was out for a good duration of the season. I mean, you do have a lot of veterans around you, but what pros and cons you may have, what pros and cons he may have, and how do they equate? How do they differ?
his style of play is like aggressive. That's one thing I see about him. He can maul a lot of linemen. That's one thing I see. But his pros and cons, I really don't pay attention to him. I really don't focus on him. But my game is I can probably almost do just about any style. I can maul you. I can speed rush you. I can pass. I can do just about anything. All I have to do is just probably look at somebody and learn it. I have to look at whatever old lineman doing, and I just start just taking it from there. But Adama Kasu is just like, he can maul you or he